Welcome back to MMA Unhinged, and joining us today is Andrea, the Amazon Watson. Andrea will be fighting at Unified 59 on October 4th against Atlanta Cook. So, Andrea, thanks for taking the time and welcome on.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to fight for Unified.
Yeah, so talk about how did that all start? Like, did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? How did the fight come together?
Yeah, so they reached out to me. I had spoken with a couple of other promoters, and then I guess my name got out there when that happened. And then Unified reached out to me shortly after and was like, "We'd really like to have you on the Unified card, actually." So I just kind of weighed my options. I did have a couple of different opponents offered and different promotions and stuff, but ultimately we liked the Unified fight and we liked the opponent. So.
Yeah, and I would like to talk about both. But first off, with the promotion, I think I watched something, and Dana White considers that promotion be pretty much the biggest Canadian MMA promotion, at least in Canada. So, how does it feel to be able to be part of a promotion like that in your second pro fight?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. It feels amazing. Thanks so much, Unified. I really appreciate you. And I'm coming to bang. I'm coming to put on a great fight for you guys. So win or lose, this is going to be fight of the night. Everybody's going to love it. Toronto's going to love it. I think Unified's going to love it. But I fought on big events before. I fought on Channel 7 in Thailand, which is, I think, their main Muay Thai channel. So I fought on big events. I think when you're in there, you don't really notice what the promotion is or what the event is or anything like that, because there's a girl across from you trying to kill you. So it's great, and I'm super happy for the opportunity to fight on Fight Pass. And I think everybody's really going to like this fight. I've got a good feeling.
For sure. And so last time we saw you in the cage, it was at PFC 15 back last year in May, I believe. So what have you been up to since then?
Well, I fired my coaching staff and hired a new coaching staff. So actually, it came out that my coach was a sexual predator. And so he, I guess, was having these sexual relations with teenage girls and multiple girls at the gym while being married and having kids, and the kids trained at the gym, and it was a really bad situation. And I had my suspicions there was something weird going on, and then everything came out like about a year ago or so, and like 30 or 40 people left the gym when they found out what was going on. It's kind of a big thing. So I mean, you can easily look up the coach and gym that I'm talking about. But also, like, his attention obviously wasn't on the people competing, right? He was busy trying to get dates and whatnot, right? So that was a really bad situation, and I think I was manipulated in a way too. To think, I was getting good training and everything was going well, and but I was fat and out of shape. I don't know why I was fighting at 145. I just had, it was a bad situation. So anyway, I've hired new coaches that are all very, very experienced and skilled, and just kind of revamped everything. I'm fighting at 135 now instead of 145. My nutrition has changed. Everything has changed. I'm like a whole new person. So I think it can go one of two ways after a loss. You can kind of just keep doing what you're doing and hope for the best, or you can kind of revamp it and, kind of make things happen. So that being said, I really did think that the ref jumped in really early in that fight. I was okay, and frankly, I was intelligently defending myself. What happened was Sierra threw a knee to my body, and then I shot for a takedown on her, and she sprawled on top of me. So we were in like a front headlock position. My arm was around her leg, and then I felt this hand, and I was like, "That's weird. I'm pretty sure I know where her hands are." So it was the ref's hand, and the ref is all of a sudden there, and I'm like, I asked him, I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "It's over." And I was so confused, and I didn't know what happened. I know she didn't know what happened because she went over to her coach and was like, "What happened?" I think everyone in the audience was confused, and even the commentators were like, "What just happened?" kind of thing. So anyway, Sierra's a great fighter, and I hope to have that rematch one day. But I really think that I got kind of I think I got a bad ref that jumped in way too early. And you know what? There was another women's fight that night, and it was the same ref. And
Hmm.
he stopped their fight in kind of a weird circumstance too. The one girl looked at the clock, and after she looked at the clock, the ref jumped in, and it was just a weird. So I feel like both stoppages by that ref that night were weird. And I do notice in general, a lot of refs will stop women's fights way sooner than men's fights, as far as like damage taken and whatnot. So I don't know. It's something I've noticed. I think other people have noticed it too. But anyway, hopefully the ref that I get this time allows me to fight to the death.
And is that your mentality? You don't, you're gonna fight until you die.
Yeah, I usually try to tell the ref before the fight, do not stop this fight unless I'm fully knocked unconscious, you know. So I told that to the ref, and maybe he didn't like that. And anyway, I did speak to the athletic commission about it, and they've agreed to not ever assign me that ref again. So thank you, Ontario Athletic Commission. I appreciate that.
There you go. There you go. Now, before I talk about your upcoming fight, I just want to kind of get to know you a little bit. So, the Amazon, did you give yourself that nickname, or did someone else, or a teammate, or family?
Um, I gave myself that nickname.
Okay.
After years of not having a nickname, people just kept pestering me. Hey, you need a nickname. Hey, you need a nickname. And then after 20 something fights, I was like, okay, I like the idea of an alliteration. It sounds good. And then also like, ancient female warrior seems fitting. So, looks good on a poster. Andrea the Amazon, got that nice alliteration. And then hopefully it opens up that sponsorship with Jeff Bezos one day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And talking about your MMA career, obviously you've had experience prior. Was it what kind of shifted you to go towards MMA? I know you've done Muay Thai, things like that.
Whew. I get ready for a long answer. So I started boxing when I was 15, and then about a year into boxing, I discovered men's MMA. I think I saw an Anderson Silva fight, or maybe Randy Couture. It was one of those guys. And I was like, this is pretty cool. They're like boxing, but they're also, kicking and kneeing and elbowing, and then they're doing this like wrestling stuff too on the ground. Was my mentality at the time. Um, so I had wondered, are women doing this? So I got on YouTube at the time. Wouldn't recommend now. I'd prefer Rumble now. But yeah, I got on YouTube at the time, and saw, that Gina Carano was kind of the big thing at that time. And I saw, okay, so women are doing this. And then I was like, this looks even better than boxing. And at the time I was kind of like, my boxing skills are better than a lot of these girls, and I'm like a young teenage girl, you know what I mean? So I kind of, once I realized that women were doing this, I was like, oh well, I want to do this. This looks great. So then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then I started doing Muay Thai. A lot of people think I've been doing Muay Thai longer, but no, I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then I started doing Muay Thai, and then I started wrestling. um, and then yeah, here we are.
And here we are. Yeah, and also for people that may also not know, you got your Amazon mushroom blend business. Talk a little bit about how that all came together, and how's that going?
Yeah, so I actually have two small businesses. So I also make homemade, like natural products. So I make like body butter and sunscreen and bug repellent with like organic ingredients like coconut oil, tallow, beeswax, stuff like that. Um, what did you ask about? Oh, the herbs. Oh, so I was actually sponsored by the largest herb company in the USA like 10 years ago. It was called badmonkeybotanicals.com. And I spent like hours talking to the CEO of this company about herbs and how he cured his dad's cancer with herbs, and just treating disease with herbs, and
Mhm.
functional medicine, holistic healing, nutrition. That's kind of when the journey started for me. Not a big fan of Western medicine. It seems to harm more people than it helps. Anyway, so yeah, I got really into herbs like, oh God, probably over 10 years ago now. And so I was just trying to help people. I was just trying to spread the word like, hey, you don't need to take those antidepressants. You don't need to take those pills. You don't need to take this, that. You can just
Mhm.
thrive on proper nutrition and herbs and supplementation. So I just kind of got into packaging it and doing up blends for people because you try to spread awareness, but people want convenience. People want what's easy. So when I tell people to order a pound of whatever mushroom and then, put it into capsules, and they don't want to do that. So, it's like I can make these blends for people, and I can make things easy for people. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to spread health in a world of sickness, basically, is how that started.
Oh, that's excellent, and it helps with you in the field, in the job that you have, the career that you got going on as a fighter. And I'm sure, do you take any yourself, if you don't mind me asking?
Do I take mushrooms and herbs?
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm big into nutrition. Most of what is in the grocery store is just pure crap and frankly poison that will give you cancer over time if you continue eating it. A lot of these products, ultra processed food and whatnot. So I'm all about clean eating and herbs and mushrooms. And what are herbs really? They're just plants. They grow out of the earth. Mushrooms are basically in the same category, although they're kind of in their own category when you really get into it. But yeah, the power of mushrooms, the power of herbs. Like once I discovered it for myself, that's why I wanted to sell them, right? And to
Hmm.
spread, to spread that kind of knowledge around and whatever. But yeah, I take a ton of mushrooms and herbs myself.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent to hear. Now, for your upcoming fight, obviously you're going to be fighting at 135 versus 145, and you kind of talked about the weight. Now, how do you feel at 135, and have you had to make like trials at making 135?
I feel great at 135, and frankly, I fought. I mean, the biggest girl I ever fought weighed in at 209 pounds. That's when I was fighting in the open heavyweight division. At the time, it was called Cask, and then later it got renamed to Wacko. So in Wacko kickboxing, I believe the cutoff for heavyweight is 155 and over. So I weighed in at 165. She weighed in at 209. I fought a lot of girls that were like 165, 155, 145. I competed in those weight classes for years. But they were just the wrong weight classes. I'm not that tall. I'm 5'7". So once I kind of revamped my nutrition and got out of the kind of stressful, weird, manipulative situation with the coach, I just want to say nothing happened with me there, but I did observe a lot of really inappropriate things going on there with the coach and young women, and it was all admitted to and everything. I think a lot of people know about it, especially if you're from this region. But I'm
Hmm.
not saying he did anything with me. I'm just saying I observed a lot of things that were going on that were inappropriate with teenage girls.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So anyway, sorry. So after I got out of the stressful situation, and just kind of revamped my nutrition and got proper training from proper coaches, the body fat just fell off me. So yeah, it's not gonna be a rough weight cut for me. It's gonna be fine.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Now, between the time that you had off from your first fight until now, obviously, I got to think that there's a lot of things that you might have improved on or worked on. So during that time, is there anything that you specifically that you've worked on that you are excited to bring into your upcoming fight that you want to show the fans?
Well, this is MMA, so there's a lot going on. So yeah, I've worked on everything. Like I've worked on cardio, wrestling, jujitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, strength and conditioning, getting stronger, getting more focused, eye training, just everything. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to in this game or you're going to fall behind. Everything is better. I'm better. You're going to see a better version of me. Hopefully the ref doesn't jump in. Let me fight to the death, please. Ref, if you're watching, I want to fight to the death.
Yeah, ref, don't screw up this fight. What do you think about Elena Cook and her style?
I don't know a lot about her. It seems like she likes to grapple. She's got some big, powerful legs on her, which would equate to forward momentum and driving force. You know what I mean? So I do think based on what I've seen, she kind of likes to bully girls, push them up against the cage, beat them up a bit, take them down, get on top. But from what I've seen, she seems good at everything. She's got good striking, grappling. She seems very well rounded, and I think it's a good matchup.
And in one sentence, what would you do to your opponent on fight night?
Sorry, you're asking what would I do?
Yes. In one sentence, how would you describe the fight going?
Oh, the fight is going to be electric and the fans are going to love it. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm sorry if I gave you a hard question. And I guess in terms of that, you're fighting in October. So, do you have any plans to fight at the end of the year, possibly, if Unified does throw on a show in December?
Yeah, absolutely. The licensing process is not fun or easy in Ontario, as I'm sure all my fighting comrades can agree. So I would definitely like to fight once again before the year ends on my active license before I have to, do the whole process again. Or I think it's a little easier to fight in Alberta, but either way, I'll have to get licensed. So I'd love to fight again while already licensed. But I just go one fight at a time. So I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about Atlanta right now. So
Excellent, excellent. And how like looking at the fight, how do you kind of see the fight going?
the fight is going to be electric. Toronto's going to love it. You're going to love it. Unified is going to love it. I'm going to have a great time. Atlanta's probably not going to have a great time, but it's going to be a great fight. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, because fighting's really
Right.
unpredictable. But I can tell you that this fight is going to win fight of the night for sure, 100%.
Excellent, excellent. And just lastly, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a fun question here. So as I'm an Ontario native, I know you've competed in Ontario, many places in Ontario. What's probably been your favorite place to fight or compete in Ontario?
Ooh, in Ontario? Sorry. Well, because I love fighting in Thailand, obviously. Ooh, in Ontario. I fought in I fought in Chatham in my first MMA fight, and it was in the middle of nowhere. So we had a really interesting crowd that came out, and everybody was drunk and yelling crazy shit. Like people were yelling to like stab people in the ring, and just crazy. It was just the wildest crowd because I think it was just in the middle of nowhere, and perhaps these people don't go to events that often, but everybody got very drunk and it was just wild chaos. So I really like that crowd. I love a wild crowd. So that's my answer. Chatham, Ontario.
That's funny. I'm actually a Chatham native, so I was waiting to
No,
hear
no, you're
you say
not.
that.
What?
I am a Chatham
No.
crowd. I actually I live I live near Sarnia, Ontario now. I had to get out.
Okay.
I was afraid you're gonna say Chatham, but no, that's fair. That's fair. I know a lot of good people are
No
from
way.
Chatham, so no, that's great to hear. So that being said, and do you have any like besides I asked you if you would possibly like to fight in December, but do you have any kind of plans outside of training, fighting after the fight?
I just want to go right back into a training camp and fight again. You know what I mean? I'm 30-ish, and with government lockdowns and injuries through my
Hmm.
20s, like, my career got a little bit delayed, but that's all right because I'm in the best shape of my life now. I just want to go right back into a training camp and fight again. That's my answer. I want to fight as much as possible. So unified, keep me busy. I'll be ready. I'll always come to bang. I'll always put on a good show for you. But I am just thinking about Atlanta right now. But to answer your question, like, no, I'm not going on vacation or anything. Like I'd like to go right back into a training camp and fight again.
Well, that's excellent, Andrea. Again, it's a pleasure having you on here for the first time, and just good luck on October 4th.
Why, thank you. Will you be there?
I don't know. I possibly we will see. And anyone that you like to do a shout out before we're done.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Kaylin Walter at Shift Concussion Management. This is my biggest sponsor right now. So, fighters or even everyday people, maybe you're in a car accident, maybe you fall down the stairs, maybe it could be a million things, bump your head on a cabinet. People are walking around every day with head trauma and they have no idea. And this can become cumulative, and that's not a good situation. We need to look after our brains. So this is one of the only places in Canada that is assessing and treating concussions effectively. So spearheaded by Dr. Kaylin Walter. I would highly recommend seeing her if you're a fighter, or even if you're not sure. Like maybe you took a hard shot in sparring and you're not sure. Like, am I a little off? Am I a little different? Go get assessed. Okay, so go see Dr. Kaylin Walter, Guelph, Ontario, Shift Concussion Management. They're really good people over there. Yeah, that's my big shout out.
Excellent, Andrea. Well, again, like I said, good luck on October 4th, and hopefully may or may not see you there. And we'll talk again soon.
Okay, yeah, and if you can't watch it, you can, or if you can't make it, you can watch me on UFC Fight Pass.
Sounds good.